There are wars and rumors of wars everywhere on this globe. But the war that we're ignoring is food, and the war on food and the war on your health. And you need to pay attention before it's too late. I'm Rosemarie Havsom. I'm here to let you know that you can take full control of your life by what you choose to put at the end of your fork. So let's talk about it.
So I'm going to tell you what I just found out about lab-grown meat, and I can assure you, you are going to be disgusted. The source of this meat, they need fast-growing cells, replicating cells, just like when you have a farm that makes fruit from a tree. You don't want to plant a new tree every week. You want a tree that gives you a lot of fruit. And this is what they're trying to do with meat. And so what do they find? Well, there's something called an immortalized cell, also known as a HeLa cell. HeLa after Henrietta Lacks, who sometime in the 1950s had cervical cancer, and they removed her cancer cells, put them in a petri dish to see how long when they continue replicating, and they're still replicating today. So if you've already started to read in between the lines, you may guess where I'm going with this, that they realized the best source for fast replicating cells to make lab-grown meat that you're going to eat are cancer and pre-cancer cells. That means taking cancerous and pre-cancerous cells, literally putting them as the base and having those replicate to continue as a fast as possible pace, produce the meat that you're going to eat. And if that isn't disgusting enough, wait for part 2, and I'm going to tell you the second source.
Food. What does food even look like anymore? With all of the fast food restaurants and all of the convenience foods that pack more chemicals and nutrients, what is a person to do? There's a bigger picture here. It's not just about should you eat the chicken nuggets or should you eat the salad. It's a bigger story than that. And it's about looking at who benefits from you eating low nutrient foods and chemicals and getting fat, getting high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes and high cholesterol. Who benefits from that? And if you think that nobody's benefiting from it, then you really need to examine what you think about what's really going on in this world. The war on food has been happening since the 1980s. That's a long time ago to think about how food has changed. The food of our grandparents and great-grandparents no longer exists or is harder to find. And let's not even talk about food deserts that don't even allow people to eat healthy food. And when there's a community, there's more liquor stores than fresh food stores. What does that say about who is planning communities from the time of having an inaccurate food pyramid that was all about who could lobby harder and who had more money to force politicians, quote unquote, allegedly, or to bribe politicians, allegedly, into passing what would become the standards of the standard American diet. The standard American diet, also known as the SAD diet, has killed more Americans than any other program that has been enforced in the United States. Genetically modified foods have changed what our bodies are and how they function. And it's happened so subtly and so slowly that many people have been caught unawares and wondering, why am I aching so much? Why does my body hurt so much? Why am I constipated so much? Why do I have headaches so much? Why do I have indigestion so much? Why do I have heartburn? Why am I breaking out? Why does my skin look so bad? Is all because of food, and a lot of it is preventable. But there are certain forces in power who don't want you to be healthy. What? Is this another conspiracy theory? No, it's not. All you have to do is do the research and to find out when people started changing seeds into Terminator seeds so that they would only produce one time and would produce seedless offspring. Who's ever heard of that? Who's ever heard of planting wheat and only having one season of wheat because the seeds are dead after that one season? Who's ever heard of having anything that has seeds, that starts from a seed, a genetically modified seed, and produces seedless, quote unquote, organic, which I laugh at because there's no such thing as an organic seedless anything. When you see that seeds have been eliminated from foods that were supposed to have seeds in its natural state, and when you see that the three main food components, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, have been tampered with so that you're not getting the full benefit of eating. Because food is not food. Let's just, okay. Let me just break this down for you. Food is not food. It looks like food. It smells like food. So it has to be food, right? No. If you break it right down, food is actually the chemicals that your body needs to function optimally. Food helps to deliver those chemicals and those nutrients that the body needs in order for your brain to work and your limbs to work and your other internal organs to work. That's what food is. But food and the purpose of food has changed over time so that now we have foodies and now we have food networks and now we have food challenges and eating contests because we're living in so much abundance. And this is everywhere in the Western world. But let's focus in on the United States because the United States is where Black people are doing the worst when it comes to their health and health outcomes. So let's not even start to split hairs on this. The facts remain. Our food has changed, and it's changed the chemical processes that are happening in your brain. You don't eat because you're hungry necessarily. You eat because your brain is telling you that it requires something from your diet to feed whatever's happening. Your body also has two brains. People are like, what are you talking about? The body has two brains, the one in your skull and the one in your gut. Your stomach is your secondary brain. And the brain and the stomach brain are linked together by the vagus nerve, so that the stomach can override the brain in telling the body what to do to get the chemicals that it wants. And this happens when the body is not in balance. When your stomach, when your gut is out of order, it starts demanding from the brain what it wants you to do. So you are at the mercy of your stomach brain telling your head brain what it wants to eat. And that is why a lot of people, when they are on diets, the diets cannot be sustained because the stomach brain wants what it wants. And until you get to the point where you develop new habits and get the body and the stomach in line to appreciate real food and real nutrients, then everything works together. But until that happens, you're still going to have insulin resistance. You're going to have inflammation all throughout your body. You're going to have fatty liver. You're going to have kidneys that are stressed. You're going to have a mind that is blocked and foggy, because you can't think clearly when you're eating mostly chemicals and preservatives and artificial flavors and artificial colors and fillers. This is not food. The war on food wants you weak. Think about it. When a baby is born, what is the first thing that new mothers are told to do? Feed the baby as often as the baby needs to be fed, because the baby needs those nutrients in order to develop and grow. That doesn't change very much when you become an adult. What changes is now you're the one that can decide what you're going to eat. But what you don't know is that within this war on food is that you're just a pawn in a chess game that you don't even know that you're a part of. You don't even recognize the chessboard because it's been put that way so that we don't. So what can you do? Look at where you can get heirloom seeds. Go and find people, farmers markets who are still growing food and livestock in a natural, holistic way. Find those people. Make connections in your communities. Have a rooftop or balcony or a side room. Your own little growing spot. You can do it even in the corner of a room with the right kind of conditions. We need to take back full control of our lives, and we're not able to do that if we can't think clearly, because the food that we're eating is damaging our ability to think clearly. A short attention span to the point where it's only 7 to 12 seconds. And that is being enabled by the scroll, the doom scrolling, the dopamine chase, and the foods that trigger that cycle of requiring dopamine. Because you are being manipulated in this war on food. The war on food is going to affect you, your children, and your grandchildren in ways that the generations before us couldn't even imagine. But you can make a choice. You can turn things around for yourself and for your family by eating real food, by exercising, by going outside and in the sunshine, and being resistant to the things that are trying to wear down your immune response and your immune system. Because it can be done through food. And big business knows that. Big food knows that. And they're counting on you being distracted enough that you don't pay attention to how your food is changing. Let's not even talk about the shrinkflation. Let's just talk about how food and the quality of food is going down and the prices are going up. But there are still cheaper ways of eating and eating real food. What do you think? Do you think that the war on food is really affecting Black people's health more than anybody has ever realized before? Put your comments below. What are you doing to protect yourself from the war on food and how food should be taken into the body? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And remember that I too have a YouTube channel. That's Havsom. That's HAV for Victor, SOM for Mother, where we'll continue the conversation there. To your good health. Bye-bye.